Cups full of XO. Mm-mm. I've been in this club too long. Mm-mm. He's happy with a good guy. I'ma have to call and say, love so bad. I know you still think about the times we had. I said that you think you found. And since you picked up, I know he's not around. Oh, I'm just saying you can do better. Tell me, have you heard that lately? I'm just saying you can do better. Okay, alright. We got some South Park going on. Okay, I just wanted to vent a little bit. I kind of already blurted at some of this out to Mylan, so the juice is not as strong. I've just had a couple of interesting, scratch that. I've had a couple of experiences recently that have just put me in a space of reflection on these last 2 years that I've spent in DC. And it's kind of crazy to think that like I've been doing these video journals for the whole 2 years, and if I pull it up, I remember the first one. I was kind of excited about classes here, and I was like, I really like this. And now that it's coming to an end, it's quite overwhelming to really like just put all the experiences that I've had and how drastically my worldview has changed in these 2 years. I mean, when I came here, I didn't know that there was a world outside of the US. After, how many conversations have I been in where every person has been from a different country since? Before then, I've never done that in my life. Before then, I had never talking. I've never talking. I had not talking. I had not talked to a single person. I don't think that was who had originated from not the U.S. I never had a non-American friend, and so even that was life changing. To a fundamental level, to understand that the world is bigger than just the United States fundamentally shapes the way your brain even thinks. That's only one thing. I feel like I've learned how deep these systems, these these larger systems work around us, and how much they help and negatively impact our lives. Both. I've learned the shortcomings of data, but also the usefulness of it. I feel like I've just understood the nuance and the left and the right and the both sides of so many different things that I feel like I've lost a lot of dogmatism that I may have carried around earlier. And yeah, I now look like a lunatic with pink hair and whatever's going on here with some just I'm straight I've lost it all. But in relation to relationships, I had a moment, just a couple moments this week where, I was thinking about the people that were really influential in my life when I first moved here, and just took a step back to think about how many of them are still here, how many of them have gone. When I first got here, Jin Lee and Anna were the first people I met in orientation, and Anthony, my roommate. Those are the three people. And then we went to that barbecue that first time, and I was like kind of nervous, and like, I hung out with them for a bit. And then I was like super excited to meet the people in my class, and I like hung out with like Anandi, and then eventually hung out with Ellis, and that's how that friendship began. And then who did I kick it with in the beginning of last year? I can't really think. Um, some people came and stayed with me for a bit, and Chokesy came and stayed. And when I think Chokesy may have been the first person to come and stay, but Amr, I mean, obviously Amr was here first, and then when Chokesy came, that's when I met Arden, and at that point I introduced him primarily to Ellis, and then I had met Abenezer, yeah, a little after that, and so Chokesy, I met Arden, and then the rest of that semester, the next semester was me just hanging out with Ellis, Arden, Abenezer, and then hanging out with Maddie, hanging out with who else? I mean, Anandi here and there. That was about it, probably. And then comes, my summer in Europe. I come back and all those friends are gone. It's completely, fully decimated. I mean, and then new friends came around, and then I started hanging out with Cedric. I was hanging out with Hannah a lot. I started hanging out with Srujana a lot, Pasian, Rahul, Petty, Sonali, Lucy, and that was like a whole different time. I started hanging with Shawina, started hanging out with Benito, started hanging, like Rachel and Gabby, and it's a very different group. I mean, none of those names I said from the first time. And then this semester started, and I've seen Benito a couple times, some Cedric, and these people weren't even the ones I was hanging out too much with last semester, but more this semester. And then I don't really see many people regularly this semester, but what this has shown me again is just a sense of like the cycles of how people come into your life and they leave. And so learning defining what a friend is for you, I think is key. I mean, I think what it comes down to is like there are these bunch of like important themes that happen in my life, and I feel like I don't have clear definitions of what they are. And so I have to navigate having a friend without really understanding what a friend is. I have to navigate love, relationships, death, sadness without really understanding what they are. Or not in like some objective sense, but just for my life, what does a friend mean? It doesn't have to mean like what is the objective definition of the word friend. That doesn't even matter. But for my own understanding, and so man, I really, really hope in the future, maybe if I'm alive 10 years from now and I'm listening to this, I hope Art and I are friends then. I really do. I hope we at least keep it. I don't want to, I'm assuming in 10 years I'll be doing something different. She'll be doing something. I hope, like, I know where she is. If she's alive, I keep in touch with her to like once a year at the very least. I hope Ellis, I know where he is at. And I hope, he always knows that I love him and will always be there for him to the best I can. Always. It's just, did I do a good job? Am I? I'm very sad this time. This phase of my life is coming to an end. And while I'm excited and while I know blah blah, I know all the things to say, I do feel a lot of sadness, and that's okay. I feel a very heavy heart. I want to love. I really, really want to love all the people that I just impacted me so deeply being here. Sagrika, like so many people, man. Just seeing them, if I really sit and think, all the people I just ran into, and it's like touched me in some meaningful way or another. But such is life, right? Things end, begin, end, begin, end, begin. Begin, end, begin, end, begin, end, begin, 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 begin. That's just the biggest theme to understand. That all that begins, ends, including me. But I have a strong sense of like motivation in my life today, right now. The big question is how do you tap into it and like your energy is like that drive, that fire is like something that needs to be, you need to keep throwing wood in there. And then you need to like cultivate it. So I feel like what ends up happening is it burns strongly, but you don't have the something to keep that fire going. It just burns out so quickly. And you know what you splash it with to burn it, or to extinguish it, but there's something else. The defeat of just life sometimes just psh. Okay, I'm putting in the universe. I would like to build my friendship with Arden again. Throwing it out there. Okay, see what happens. Love you, Gautam. Bye.